All right, so today I'm gonna make an attempt at a 5-pound PR from last week on the behind the neck press. Once I get done with this and I crush this thing, we're gonna talk a little bit about how I got here and where I expect to go from here and things that you can do if you wanna get strong in your weakest positions possible, which will carry over into your strongest positions like nothing else. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this bad boy an attempt. All right, so it's 135 with the 45s on there, a 5 and a 2 on each side. So I do not recommend this exercise unless you have good shoulder health. So if you don't have good shoulder mobility and you're unable to do a wall slide, which is basically standing flat against the wall with the back of your head, your shoulders, your elbows, your hands, your ass, your feet against the wall, being able to slide up and down, do not attempt this exercise because you do not have the shoulder mobility to do it. So I'm not sure if this attempt looked the same as last week. So last week, I always like to record myself, go back, check my own form, and kind of see how things go to where I can make little tweaks to get better. So last week when I did the exercise, I noticed that once I got here, this was really slow. Once I got to the back of my head, it just flew up. The reason is, you are in a disadvantaged position back here. You have no leverage whatsoever. It's all upper back and all shoulders, unlike the front. You're using the upper chest. You can lean back a little bit to give yourself extra force, is what a lot of people like to do. But with this one, it's just straight up and down. Leverages are terrible, and then it gets easier from here. A lot of times, if you see people do this, behind the neck press, they only go here at the back of the head for two reasons. One, this is the easy part. Two, they don't have the shoulder mobility to go farther back. So here's a couple things that I do to prepare myself for this exercise to keep my shoulders healthy. And I'm telling you right now, if you're able to do this exercise, there's nothing better for your shoulders than this thing here as long as you have the shoulder mobility. It is going to hit the rear and side delts like nothing else. And my shoulders feel fantastic after I do it. It's no shit. So, first thing is band pull-aparts. You want to grab this band here, squeeze this bad boy, squeeze the shoulder blades together, okay? You want to get strong in your middle back. That's where most people are weak when they're sitting in cars all day, they're sitting desk all day, they're working all the time. They get weak in that upper back area. So we got to strengthen that stuff up, which actually helps for the shoulder health. Next thing is shoulder dislocations. Grab the band here, okay? Pull it apart, overhead all the way back. You should be able to do this without any issues, okay? Side view, do this without any issues before you perform this exercise here. I recently bought this bad boy here, right? And a lot of you may laugh at this, but this is actually chest expander. Old school exercise, tried and true. This thing right here, each one of these springs is 10 kilograms, 22 pounds. This is 88 pounds right here of pressure to pull it apart. This thing, I can put up to 7 springs on this bad boy. This thing here has done more for my overhead press, front overhead press, than anything else. Badass piece of equipment right here. Goal is to, all 7, pull that bad boy apart. I'm not there yet. So, another thing is warming up, okay? A lot of times when people go through these exercises, they just do lateral raises, they do front raises, they do bent over flies, and then they do a press of some sorts. What's the missing component? The common denominator with all these things is nobody's going through rotation with any of their warm-ups, any of their exercises, any of that stuff. Your shoulder is designed to move around ball and socket style joint to move in any way possible. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have that shoulder mobility in all planes of motion. So we want to warm up with circles in every way possible. And I tell you what, just by doing that with no weight, your shoulders are going to feel pretty pumped before you even start. And then the next thing is, the final thing is, I just didn't jump into this weight. I started with an empty bar. For the first 2.5 weeks I did this exercise, I was going killer light on it, doing high reps, 15, 20 reps. It wasn't until last week where I just wanted to see where I was at as a base starting point as far as the strength goes in this disadvantageous position. So then it goes empty bar, put a 10 on each side, 2 10s on each side, and then just start adding the bigger weights until I come up with something that's pretty close. But I'm gonna go back and watch this video because I felt as if I had a little bit more in the tank, which is good because once you really start maxing out and grinding, that's when it's time to kind of take a step back a little bit because you're already getting into the mud. So you want to step it back a little bit, gain that momentum, step it back, gain the momentum when it comes to any strengthening exercise that you have, because if you're just grinding every week trying to hit a PR, you're not going to get anywhere. Trust me, I've done it plenty of times in my day. So this is where you learn, through the practice itself. All right, but I just wanted to get on here, talk a little bit about this exercise. If anybody's interested in trying it out, make sure your shoulders are healthy. You have a good range of motion first. All right. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody. Hope you all have an awesome day. Until next time. Woo!